guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, welcome. I am Steph. I am a huge book lover and book reader, and this channel is dedicated to that. Okay, now this video is about my TBR for April to be read books, and I'm a mood reader, so there is a high chance that I will not stick to any of this. I will probably try my best, but I am not making any promises. I am most likely going to go way off track. But these are the books that are on my radar for April. I'm also going to London next week for the Easter break, and I am going to be able to go to bookstores there, so hopefully I'll be able to get some more books there, and I might read a few of those as well. There's some of these that I've already started and just haven't been able to finish. Thing is that I have been in a sort of book slump lately. I will start a book and then end up going like halfway through it or 30% through it, and then just put it down, never pick it back up again. And I want to finish the books that I've started. I used to be that type of girl where I would start a book and then I could not move on to another one before I've finished that one book. Now I'm in the middle of like 7, so I really want to finish them. That is not counting my Kindle books. On Kindle, I swear I'm in the middle of like 10. So I'm just gonna forget about those for now, and I want to focus on my physical books. So as for the ones that I have started, there is the Atlas 6, which I'm reading for a video, books read off my physical TBR that I have left for a while. So this one is one that I'm reading for that, and I am about 228 pages in. That's a bit more than halfway through. Hopefully I'll get to this. This is a fantasy along with like an academia vibe to it. It's sort of slow paced. Actually, it's really slow paced, and the characters are all very questionable. There's no one character that you like more than others, honestly. They are all very morally grey, honestly. They all make questionable decisions. There's a few characters that you'll like at one point, and then the next chapter they'll do something that completely sets you off course. This is about 6 magicians who have the chance to enter this secret society, and there's only a place of 5 of them, so they have to prove themselves over a year. And basically you follow those 6 magicians. Every sort of chapter it changes POV to a different person, so you follow all of the 6 POVs. Yeah, I like it, but it's really slow, and I usually read fast-paced books, so this is a difference, quite a big one. And yeah, I just need to push through it. The ending is going to be fast. I can already tell. I'm halfway through it, even more than halfway through it, and it's still nowhere close to wrapping things up. So yeah, I just need to push through this. Also, this is The Atlas 6 by Olivie. I'm not sure if I said the author's name before. She's written quite a few other books. There's Alone with You in the Ether, Masters of Death, a couple of others, and her books are really well known, and she writes apparently really lyrical kinds of books, and this is my first book by her. I certainly see how her writing style could attract people. It's very poetic, and that also makes it a bit more difficult to read, mostly because you actually had to focus on the paragraphs. But yeah, this is what I need to read, finish. Then, oh boy, there's a few of these. There is Bring Me Your Midnight by Rachel Griffin. Now get this, I loved this book. I started it in about the middle of February, and I loved it. I am more than halfway through, and I did that in a day, right? I loved this book, and I read it when I was supposed to be practicing for a test. I was obsessed. And then I just stopped. I don't know why. I just lost motivation halfway through. I think it's because I was looking at how many pages there are, and I accidentally saw some sort of spoiler, honestly, and I didn't really like the way the story was going, but I need to finish this. Also, on the cover, there's a quote from Stephanie Garber. That's the author of the Caraval and Once Upon a Broken Heart series, and I loved both of those series. So that's one of the reasons that I kind of felt like I had to read this. Also, Adeline Grace is on the back too, the author of Belladonna, and I love both of those books. So I want to read this. This is a fantasy romance. It follows a witch, and she lives in a very closed-off society that has to practice this very bland form of magic because the people are scared of the witches. And then she meets this one guy who helps her when her magic starts to overcome her, and that one guy practices darker magic. This is really interesting and I really want to read this. I feel like I have to. I actually really want to know what's going on and I really want to know what happens. But I just lost motivation. I will pick this back up though, I promise you, in April. Hopefully. Also, I love this cover. I just love it. It's probably because I love this colour, turquoise, but I love this cover. Alright. I swear this is so embarrassing. There's so many books that I haven't finished. Then there's Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. What can I say? This is a series and I believe there's like 5 books in this series. I started this not too long ago, maybe like 2 weeks ago, and again, halfway through, and I kind of see how I lost motivation for this. This is also a fantasy, and it's a fantasy dystopian about a girl who lives in a society where reds are the lowest class, and then there is the silvers who are the elites. And silvers have powers, but this girl is a red, right? She is poor, she has to survive off of thieving. Then she finds out that she has a power of her own, right? And these silvers are terrified of her because reds are supposed to be powerless. They are suppressed, and if they all have powers, then the silvers have no chance, right? But she has a power, so the silvers decide to hide her in plain sight as a long-lost silver princess. And yeah, it's quite fast-paced, honestly, but halfway through, I just kind of lost motivation. It's kind of repetitive in the middle, and I feel like you just have to push through it, honestly. But I'm not finding the story particularly interesting. I sped through the first half, read it in less than a day, but then I felt like we were just moving nowhere, right? I really want to finish this, and again, as I said, it's a series of 5 books, so hopefully I'll enjoy the ending enough that I continue reading the series. I've heard that there's a huge plot twist at the end, so hopefully that'll raise my review of this book once I finish it. This has also been on my physical TBR forever. I believe I bought it over a year ago and I still just got to it, so I need to finish this. Then we have The Poppy Walk by R.F. Kuang. This is the author of Babel. I have that book too, still haven't read it either. I love this book. I started it, again, I'm just under halfway through, and I started it, I believe, in January, December last year. And again, I really enjoy this book. It's very fast-paced. It honestly reminds me a lot of Fourth Wing. It's also about this academy, and this girl passes a test to get into it, and she is quite poor, so when she passes this test and she aces it, she gets the highest mark in her part of the world. She's poor and no one expected it, and this test is supposed to be the most difficult test ever, right? And she passes it, she gets into Sign Guard, the elite military school, and there's obviously prejudices from her classmates. They don't like that she is basically a peasant who got into the most elite school there is. And then she finds her own special power, and that there is more to this empire that she lives in than she expects. So there's mystery, there's secrets, there's magic. It's really interesting, and I really don't know why I put it down. I feel like it might have been because the main character was annoying me quite a lot. She kept thinking about her loyalty to her empire when there was something off with it. So I kind of just like put it down. I was like, yeah, no, you're too annoying. But I want to finish this. This is a trilogy, and I really want to know what happens next. Since it's a trilogy, there has to be something more coming after. So I need to finish this. Then we have Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Su Lin Tan. Again, oh, okay. I thought I was halfway through this. Apparently I'm not even a quarter way through. That's odd, but again, bought this September last year? No, November last year. I started it, quite enjoyed it, but then I kind of just put it down. I don't know why. This is a fantasy with some romance in it. It actually follows Chinese mythology, which is quite rare for the book world, honestly. I've seen tons of Greek mythology and Roman mythology, but not a lot of Chinese mythology. So that was a nice surprise. Yeah, this is about... The problem with Chinese names is that I never know how to pronounce them. Yeah, no, I'm not even gonna try. It's about this girl who lived on the moon, right? Because her mother was exiled by the Celestial Emperor, but she didn't know that. She thought she was just living on the moon, right? Nothing new. The thing is that her mother was exiled, but no one knew about her existence. And she was living with her mother when her magic flared and people found out about her existence because of that. So she had to flee, and then she started working undercover, kind of. She trains alongside the Emperor's son, right? The son of the guy who exiled her mother, the reason why she's alone now, right? But there is romance happening between them. So it's sort of a forbidden romance kind of thing. The summary is very vague, so I'm not quite sure what happens. But again, I've only read less than a quarter of it. But yeah, I liked it. I don't know why I put it down, but I started it last year, the end of last year. Actually, the day that I bought this book, and I still haven't finished it. I put it down and I just stopped reading it, and I can't believe that. So hopefully I will get to this month. Okay, everyone knows this book. This is As Good as Dead by Holly Jackson. This is the third book in the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder trilogy. I read the first two books, loved both of them. The first book was a 5-star read, the second book was a 4.5-star read. Again, this is the last book, and I haven't got to it. I started it, I'm on page 32, great for me. How do I say this? I don't want to spoil anything, but Pippa is so traumatized from what happened in the last book. She is on drugs now, and that is kind of discouraging. Also, I know what happens at the end of this book. At the end of this book, it's heartbreaking, right? And I know what happens because some idiot uploaded a video on YouTube, a short, and I watched it and there was no spoiler warning. But basically it just showed the last page, right? And if you read this book, you know what I mean. So that is very, very annoying, right? But I will still read this. It's just this book is a lot darker than the other books. There is a lot more death and dark stuff happening in this one, and that's the reason that I kind of stayed away from this book for a while. But I need to finish this trilogy, right? I need to know what everyone's talking about, and I kind of do anyway, but I need to experience it myself. It won't be as much as a surprise for others, but hopefully it'll still have an effect on me. I can't really say much about this book if you haven't read the rest of the series, so I'll just explain the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, the first book. It's about Pip, who lives in a village where a murder took place a while ago, I believe like 5 years ago, something like that. And everyone believes that they have found the suspect. It was a high schooler who killed his girlfriend. However, that high schooler died later on. There's no evidence, but the case is closed. Pippa opens the investigation for a school project. She writes about it and she investigates, and she finds out that there's more to it than she expected. And it's about her solving this murder mystery. And it's very interesting. I read it in a couple of sittings, I believe maybe even one. I just flew through it. It keeps you on your toes and it keeps you guessing. So if you like that kind of book, definitely read it. There's also romance in it, and Ravi Singh is just amazing. He is boyfriend material. He is the cutest, most romantic boyfriend there is. Aaron Warner is probably giving me the side eye right now, but you know what I mean. Alright, so that's this book. Let's just get this over with. Next I have the second Lord of the Rings book, Two Towers by J.R.R. Tolkien. If you don't know this book, how do you not? The Lord of the Rings is the most popular book there is. Most likely the most popular. I read the first book in January, and it took me a while, obviously, because it's basically a classic, right? But I enjoyed it more than I expected. I actually gave it 5 stars. The writing, yes, is very difficult to understand. The sentences are mixed. Somehow the words are in the wrong places because it's Old English, but still, it was very interesting. And next I watched the film, the first one, and I loved it. It's one of my favorite films ever now. So I really wanted to read this book, and I am on page, oh god, I am this much through, this much left to go. I can't say the page number because the pages are continuing from the past book. In the past book, there were like 300 or something pages, and now it goes on to 400 and something. So it just continues from the last book. That's really weird, honestly. But this follows the Fellowship as they continue on their journey. And the last book ended on kind of a cliffhanger, so I wanted to read this one next. And this one is just dragging out. Honestly, I read a couple of pages of this per week because I can't bring myself to read more of it. I'm usually a really fast reader, but I can't bring myself to read more of it. And I really want to finish this. I most likely won't get to this in April. I will hopefully get to maybe the halfway point, but there is a high chance that I will not finish this. But hopefully I'll finish it by May. Then next we have Vicious by V.E. Schwab. I am also that much through. It's about 130 pages through. Wow, I thought there were fewer pages than that. Okay. This is about two rivals who worked on a project together, but then one of them went to jail and now they hate each other. So this follows them in the past as well as the present. The chapters keep switching, and in the past you see how they are very close and how they work together, and in the present you see how they hate each other, and in the present they are quite literally enemies. The different thing about this book is that they are both sort of villains. Neither of them is the hero. They are both questionable characters. They both have questionable motives. They both do not look like hero material, which is different to books I usually read. Usually there's a hero and there's a villain, and there is someone who betrays either one, right? That's a very brief description. But in this book there's no hero, which is really different to what I usually read, but it's also a nice, refreshing change. I honestly think that that might be the reason why I'm not flying through this like I usually would, but I did read 130 pages in one day of this book. Actually, it was the evening after school. That seemed more impressive. But yeah, I really want to read this book. Also, I am crazy. I bought this book along with Vengeful, which is the second book in this series. I bought both books, so now I kind of have to read them, right? Also, they are both from Tor Publishing Company, but this one has a paper-like feel to the outside, and this one is matte. And I want the Vicious in the matte format. Does anyone know where you can get them? They fit together, but touch-wise, they don't, which is really, really annoying. But yeah, I'll have to search for it. And the thing is, hopefully I'll be able to find one in England, but who knows? Alright, then, as you can see, there's way too many books here for me to read in April, but hopefully I'll be able to manage just a few of these. I have two more. Next I have the Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. This is the first book in the Infernal Devices series. I've read the Mortal Instruments series by her and I loved it, right? I loved all of those books. They are so unique. For some reason, the plot is quite similar to what you see normally. It's quite similar to Harry Potter, honestly. It's like a girl who finds out that she has powers and that she's part of a secret organization, right? That secret type of people who fight against the dark side, who fight against demons, or Harry Potter, the dark side. And then there's one villain, Voldemort, and then here there's another villain. But honestly, the Mortal Instruments are so unique in a way that I don't understand. I love her writing, and I love her characters. And Cassandra Clare is just one of the most original fantasy authors there is. She is I don't want to say classic, because then I am disrespecting J.R.R. Tolkien and George R. Martin, but I do feel like she is a classic fantasy author. She has the Infernal Devices series, which is this, the Mortal Instruments series, the Dark Artifices series, and then a couple of others. The Last Hours series, and those books are really thick and I really want to read them. But this is the next series, but this happens before the Mortal Instruments, and I have the entire series. This is a trilogy and I have all of them. I bought them in a box set, so I kind of have to read them. Again, I really want to return to this world, and I've watched both the film and I am currently watching the series on Netflix. And I loved both. The film is just amazing, right? That's probably some of the best filming in the film industry. Anyway, This book is what I want to read. This is about Tessa Gray, and she arrives in England during the reign of Queen Victoria. I'll just read the summary to you because I don't want to explain. So, when Tessa Gray arrives in England during the reign of Queen Victoria, something terrifying is waiting for her in London's downworld, where vampires, warlocks, and other supernatural folk stalk the gaslit streets. Friendless and hunted, Tessa seeks refuge with the Shadowhunters, a band of demon hunters. Drawn ever deeper into their world, she finds herself fascinated by and torn between two best friends. So this is a love triangle too. I don't like love triangles. I just don't. They are so damn annoying. The character goes for the guy that I don't like, and I'm always like, girl, look the other way. There is a perfectly good guy there, and you're going for the other one. But people say that this series is amazing, especially Kat reads it. I love her channel, go check it out by the way. But for her, this is one of her favourite series ever, so I need to read it. And last but definitely not least, I wanted to read Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. Okay, this is a classic from booktok, right? This is a romance, fully romance. This is about Magnolia Parks and BJ Ballantyne. It's a love story between them. From what I've heard, this isn't a normal romance book. It's more real life. Normal romance books are, right, they meet, there's tension slowly growing, they get together, again, growing, the third act breakup, and they get back together. Happily ever after, done. Apparently, this book is different, and I want to know what's so different about it. People love this book. Sarah Caroli loves it, then a couple of other booktubers love it too, and I want to know what the hype's about. Also, I bought, hold on one sec. This is sort of embarrassing, just the slightest bit. I bought these 4 books all together off Amazon, and I wanted to get the original covers because I don't like the new American covers. I don't like real people on the covers, and there are legs there on the covers. And I love these covers. I love this. So I bought these 4 books, right? And then, on Tuesday, I am filming this on Saturday. So on Tuesday, I went to the bookstore, and recently there was a 5th book that was released in this series, and it's called Magnolia Parks Into the Dark. Of course, I bought it. I love this cover. Again, these covers are just amazing. Best covers ever. But I bought this book knowing full well that I have the rest of the series at home and I haven't read any of them. And that is what is so embarrassing, because I have all of these books and I haven't read them. I'm the kind of crazy person who will buy the entire series before even reading the first book. So that's me. But hopefully I'll be able to get to the first book this month, and if I get to it and I like it, I will probably binge the rest of the series. And I need to know what this is about and why people rave about it so much. So this is definitely on my April TBR. Alright then, that is all of the books that I am hoping to read in April. Now again, I'm a mood reader, so most likely I will not get to most of these. Hopefully I'll be able to finish maybe 4. I specifically put a lot of choices just because then these will be on my radar and I'll be able to choose between them, because again, as a mood reader, I'll just be hopping between books. But hopefully I'll be able to get to some of these. If you guys have any recommendations, let me know. I usually read fantasy, romance, mystery, those kinds of books. Thank you so much for being here. If you are still here, honestly, wow. If you are still here, then you're crazy, but I'm very happy that you are. I would not listen to myself rant this much, honestly, and yeah, I really enjoyed this. If you guys have any video recommendations too, please let me know in the comments. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe. I'm pretty sure those are the 3 that people usually do, but do not feel obligated. This is just a safe space. I could not care less. I just enjoy making these videos. So yeah, those are the books I've hope to read in April, and I hope that you guys enjoyed watching. See you guys in the next one. Bye!